Receive the highest value and unmatched security for the remittance sent by your loved ones abroad from People's Bank. Get extra 10 rupees for every dollar and receive a refund of transaction fees up to rupees 1,000 when depositing funds to a rupee account. Receive the highest value and unmatched security for the remittance sent by your loved ones abroad from People's Bank. Get extra 10 rupees for every dollar and receive a refund of transaction fees up to rupees 1,000 when depositing funds to a rupee account.
In a few moments, the news.
Receive the highest value and unmatched security for the remittance sent by your loved ones abroad from People's Bank.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Danushka Madhavela and read by Indrani Senanayaka. The headlines. The BIMSTEC Summit will be held in Colombo on the 31st of March. The President has instructed officials to pay attention to launching a transport service covering tourism zones. COVID deaths increase in Sri Lanka. Media Minister condemns the attack targeting a journalist. A special police team has been deployed to investigate the looting of ancient relics from the Kotavehara Raja Mahaviharya in Rambukkana. In foreign news, police kill man wielding knife at Paris station. And in sports news, Kamila Valieva allowed to compete at Winter Olympics in Beijing after CAS hearing. The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, the BIMSTEC Summit, will be held in Colombo on the 31st of March. The Sri Lankan government has invited Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to end the BIMSTEC Summit in Colombo next month. Speaking during a media briefing in Colombo, Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires said the head of state of Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar and Thailand were also invited to attend the summit. He said the Minister of Finance Basil Rajapaksa visited India in December and held discussions with his Indian counterpart Nirmala Sitharaman and Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar. He added, as a result of the discussions, India provided $2.4 billion to Sri Lanka. Minister Pires stated that Minister Basil Rajapaksa will have to visit India once again in 2 weeks in order to sign the relevant agreements and obtain the funds promptly. Minister G.L. Pires added he will also engage in an official visit to India on the invitation of his Indian counterpart. The minister noted Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar also accepted an invitation to visit Sri Lanka and is expected to visit from the 18th to the 20th of March. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed officials to pay attention to launching a transport service covering tourism zones. He said that all train compartments that have not been used so far should be added to the service. The President said attention should be paid to using electric buses. President Rajapaksa pointed out it is important to pay attention to the fuel crisis and environmental issues. The President mentioned this during the Progress Review meeting on the transport sector, which took place today at the Presidential Secretariat. The Health Ministry reported that 36 deaths due to COVID-19 have been registered yesterday in Sri Lanka. Thereby, the total number of deaths due to COVID-19 in the country has risen to 15,844. The Health Ministry said the deceased include 6 people between the ages of 30 and 59 and 30 people above the age of 60 years. The ministry added that the victims consist of 20 men and 16 women. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get extra 10 rupees for every dollar and receive a refund of transaction fees up to rupees 1,000 when depositing funds to a rupee account from People's Bank.
We continue with local news. Many parties condemn the attack which took place targeting journalist Chamudita Samaravikrama. Media organizations for press freedom, and many veteran journalists say that it is a threat to press freedom in the country. They request the authorities to hold an independent investigation into this issue. Media Minister Dallas Arahappelma also condemned the attack. The minister instructed the IGP to speed up the investigations in this regard. The Piliyandala residence of journalist Chamudita Samaravikrama was attacked early this morning. At least 4 men had attacked the residence using stones and excrement. Samaravikrama, his wife and child were in the house at the time the attack took place. According to Samaravikrama's wife, the group of attackers had arrived in a white vehicle. They had threatened the security officer of the housing complex where the journalist is residing. One man had held what seemed to be a gun at the security officer and forced him to open the gate and not alert anyone, while the others went into the house of the journalist. The men had gone to the house and attacked it before fleeing. A special police team has been deployed to investigate the looting of ancient relics from the Kotavehara Rajamahaviharya in Rambukkana. Police spokesman SSP Nihal Talduwa said the police team have been deployed on the directive of the Inspector General of Police. 5 gold caskets and 3 crystal caskets kept at the Kotavehara Rajamahaviharya were reportedly stolen on Saturday. According to the Department of Archaeology, the stolen caskets were first found during excavations carried out in 1956 and the year 2000. Meanwhile, 3 police teams are conducting investigations to apprehend the suspects behind the robbery. Next, we take a look at the main news story.
Get extra 10 rupees for every dollar and receive a refund of transaction fees up to rupees 1,000 when depositing funds to a rupee account from People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Parliamentarian Sanjeeva Edirimana urges politicians to not mislead the public over the EPF issue by spreading false information. He says that many people have forgotten the way that the Good Governance government used the fund. He says that he is ready to debate with anyone on this issue and in this regard. That was the main news story. Watchlight is up next.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight, motorists complain that almost all road diggings excavated for various reasons have not been repaired up to the required standard. Many of the damages have not been repaired even to a safe level. The digging has created potholes and led to possible severe accidents as well. Telecommunications, electricity and water services providing companies are mainly responsible for the damage to roads for their expansion and distribution purposes. After the process, the companies or the third-party contractors do not repair the roads correctly. This is for the attention of the authorities to look into this matter as soon as possible. That was Watchlight. A bulletin of world news will follow. The headlines. Police kill man wielding knife at Paris station. Scott Morrison criticised by New Zealand band over song use. Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman dies aged 75. French police have shot dead a man wielding a knife who threatened them at Paris's Gare du Nord train station. The man attacked 2 police officers on patrol at the station with a 30-centimeter knife, police said. An anti-police inscription was found on the man's knife, reports say. No police officers were injured in the incident, which occurred at about 07 hours local time today. The authorities believe the incident was not terrorism-related. A New Zealand band has hit out at Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison for performing what they called a cynical rendition of their song Rock Band Dragon said. His cover of April Sun in Cuba was an attempt to humanize himself come election time. He performed the 1977 hit song as part of a pre-election interview. The segment showed Mr. Morrison strumming a ukulele and singing the start of the chorus before admitting he could not remember the rest. Mr. Morrison came under fierce criticism for vacationing in Hawaii in 2019 while Australia battled its bushfire crisis. Filmmaker Ivan Reitman, who directed blockbuster comedies including the original Ghostbusters, has died at the age of 75. After his family fled communist oppression in post-war Czechoslovakia, Reitman grew up in Canada, where he trained in filmmaking. His big break came when he produced the 1978 frat house comedy, National Lampoon's Animal House. The other films also directed included Twins, Kindergarten Cop, and Junior. He died peacefully in his sleep at his home in California, his family said. To end this bulletin of world news, we take a look at the headlines again. Police kill man wielding knife in Paris station. Scott Morrison criticised by New Zealand band over song use. Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman dies aged 75. That ends this bulletin of world news. Development news is up next.
Development news is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
On to development news. The Ministry of Environment launched a tree planting program in 2021 called A Plant for Love. It has planted 50,000 me saplings island-wide. Minister of Environment Mahinda Amaravira expressed these views while participating the A Plant for Love tree planting program held at the Sri Lanka University of Technology, Padukka today. He said young people were planting trees today, giving a new meaning to Valentine's Day. That was development news. Sports news follows.
Development news was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
On to sports news.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Kamila Valieva can compete again in the Winter Olympics after sports highest court ruled exceptional circumstances meant the 15-year-old Russian figure skater should not be provisionally suspended for a failed drug test. The Court of Arbitration for Sport pointed to age and issues around timing of the result announcement in the reasons for its ruling. But critics have questioned why an athlete who has failed a drug test is being allowed to compete on the world's biggest stage. Valieva, who returned a positive test for the prevention of drug test on the 25th of December last year, has been provisionally suspended on the 8th of February, but challenged the decision, and the Russian anti-doping agency lifted the ban the very next day. That was sports news. Business news is up next.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
John Keel's Properties partnered with AGC Innovate Private Limited to incorporate plastic-modified asphalt concrete paving into its construction projects, including Crescat Boulevard and Cinnamon Life. Supported by John Keel's Holdings social entrepreneurship project Plastic Recycle, the new partnership with AGC Innovate aims to help solve Sri Lanka's plastic waste crisis. That was business news. Economic news follows.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka and Belarus have decided to reactivate bilateral cooperation and have discussions about the next sittings of the Intergovernmental Commission and political consultation. The ambassador to Russia, Professor Janita A. Lianege, concurrently accredited to the Republic of Belarus, held a number of meetings with the Belarusian authorities during her official visit. In the framework of a stay in Minsk, the ambassador presented her letters of credence to the President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, had a conversation with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Vladimir Meiki, and gave interviews to the Belta News Agency on the prospects of cooperation. That was economic news. Finally, a look at the weather report.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
On to the weather report. The showery condition is expected to reduce in the northern, north-central and eastern provinces in the next few days. Showers or thundershowers may occur at several places in the southern province and in the Ratnapura district during the evening or at night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabragamo and central provinces and in the Gaul and Matara districts during the morning. That was the weather report. To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The BIMSTEC summit will be held in Colombo on the 31st of March. The President has instructed officials to pay attention to launching a transport service covering tourism zones. COVID deaths increase in Sri Lanka. Media Minister condemns attack targeting a journalist. A special police team has been deployed to investigate the looting of ancient relics from the Kotavehera Rajamahaviharya in Rambukkana. In foreign news, police kill man wielding knife at Paris station, and in sport news, Kamila Valieva allowed to compete at Winter Olympics in Beijing after the court hearing. That ends tonight's news broadcast.